Did you know your December pension payment could arrive earlier than you think? And your benefits are set to increase next year? If you're receiving CPP or OAS, this could directly affect your wallet. Stay tuned because I'm breaking down everything you need to know about these new payment rules so you're fully prepared. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss any updates that could impact your benefits. Right now, across Canada, millions of seniors, retirees, disabled Canadians, and families are paying attention to news about their benefits. There's a lot of discussion online, in community centers, in senior homes, and family forums about what's changing with the Canada Pension Plan and old age security. And you may have seen alerts or headlines that sound urgent that say new rules starting in December or changes that will affect your payments. But what does that really mean? Today in this video, we're going to unpack it all in a way that's clear, practical, accurate, and grounded in official information from the federal government. We'll walk through what's really happening with CPP and OAS payments this year and what's changing in December, as well as what changes are actually scheduled for the new year. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to expect, what action you need, if any, and how these changes might affect you or the people you care about. Let's start by talking about the two major retirement income programs in Canada, the Canada Pension Plan, commonly called CPP, and Old Age Security, usually called OAS. Both are designed to provide financial support to Canadians as they age or if they become disabled. CPP is funded by contributions that workers and employers make throughout a person's career. OAS, on the other hand, is a government-funded benefit available to eligible seniors based on residency in Canada. Both programs issue monthly payments to beneficiaries, and those payments are essential for many Canadians' financial stability. Now, every year, the Government of Canada reviews payment schedules, benefit amounts, and cost of living adjustments. That's because Canada indexes these benefits to make sure they keep pace with inflation. When the cost of living goes up, benefit amounts typically increase too. That's good news for recipients because it means your benefits are adjusted for changes in the economy, but it's also why you might see news about changes to payment rules or increasing amounts from year to year. So, what exactly is changing now? First, it's important to address the December timeline. Yes, there is something different happening with CPP and OAS payments in December, but it's not a dramatic rule overhaul like some viral posts might suggest. Instead, the change is related to the timing of the payments for the month of December. Normally, CPP and OAS payments arrive toward the third to last business day of the month. However, because December has a compressed calendar with holidays and year-end closures, the government schedules those payments earlier to make sure they land in recipients' accounts before the banking system slows down, postal services are delayed, and many businesses close for the holidays. For December 2025, that means that both CPP and OAS payments are scheduled to be deposited on Monday, December 22nd, 2025, for individuals who receive their benefits by direct deposit. Think about that for a moment. Instead of receiving your usual payment near the end of the month, maybe the 28th or 29th, your money arrives a week or more earlier. That's actually very important for budgeting, because it ensures you have access to your income before the holidays and before year-end bills like property taxes, rent, utilities, or other recurring expenses come due. But it's also exactly the kind of detail that gets misinterpreted in social media headlines, where a simple scheduling change gets exaggerated into something much bigger. So when someone says there's a new rule in December, what they're often referring to is this payment timing shift. It doesn't change your eligibility for CPP or OAS. It doesn't change how much you receive in December. And it doesn't mean there's a new program, bonus, or one-time payout. It's simply about when the payment hits your account. Now, that's the short-term part. But what about the bigger picture? What changes are actually coming for 2026? Here's where we need to focus on the benefit amounts and the cost of living adjustments that take effect with the new year. Canada indexes CPP and OAS benefits to the Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation. That means if prices rise in a given year, benefits are adjusted upward to help beneficiaries maintain their purchasing power. This is an ongoing part of how these programs work, not a special new rule just for December. As of January 1st, 2026, both CPP and OAS recipients will receive their adjusted benefit amounts that reflect the latest cost of living increase. This is something that happens every year, but because inflation has been higher in recent years, the increases are more noticeable for many people. For example, if inflation was up by a certain percentage in the previous year, then the benefits are increased by that same percentage so that retirees don't lose ground financially as costs rise. The key point here is that the increase is automatic. If you receive CPP or OAS benefits, you do not need to apply for a cost of living adjustment. You don't need to call a government line. You don't need to fill out any paperwork. The government calculates the new rates based on official inflation data and issues those updated amounts in January. They simply show up in your monthly payment. Because of that, the real new payment rules people are talking about often have to do with the updated benefit amounts starting in January. Not a change that suddenly happens in December, but because the December payment arrives earlier in the month, some people get confused and think that's where the new rules kick in. In reality, the early deposit just ensures that you get your December benefit before the holiday break. So let's put it all together. In December 2025, the significant change is when you receive your payment. In January 2026, the significant change is how much you receive based on annual indexing. That's the real effect of the cost of living adjustment, which is tied to inflation and applied to CPP and OAS benefits nationwide. Now, you might be wondering, does this affect everyone the same way? Broadly speaking, yes, it affects all CPP and OAS recipients, but the impact may vary from person to person. For instance, individuals who have depended on their benefits as a primary source of income will feel the cost of living increase more acutely because it directly affects how much money they have to spend each month. Others who have additional sources of retirement income, like workplace pensions, registered retirement income funds, or savings, may feel it less directly. Nonetheless, for everyone on fixed incomes, these timing and amount changes are important to understand and plan around. There are other nuances too. For example, some people receive additional supplements with their OAS benefits, like the Guaranteed Income Supplement, GIS, if they have lower incomes. Those supplements may also adjust at the start of the year, and those changes are also automatic. Again, no action is required on your part. These supplements are tied to income thresholds and the overall benefit structure, and the government updates them annually. And it's worthwhile mentioning that these changes, both timing and increases, feed into larger financial planning conversations for seniors, retirees, and families. Many people structure their year-end budgets or holiday spending around when their benefits arrive. Receiving that December payment earlier can be a relief, but it's still critical to plan for the bigger long-term picture. Cost of living increases matter because they determine your income for the entire year ahead. That's why it's worth paying attention to official announcements from Service Canada and the Government of Canada, rather than relying solely on social media or second-hand alarmist headlines. Here's another important point. All of these payment practices are designed to be stable and predictable. The government publishes annual benefit calendars that list the exact dates for CPP OAS and related benefits for the coming year. These calendars are available to the public and tell you well in advance when your payments will arrive. That's helpful for budgeting and scheduling automatic payments like rent or mortgage, utilities, and other recurring bills. If you have direct deposit, which most people do, then those payments will land in your bank account on the scheduled date, whether it's earlier in December or at the usual time in January or any other month. For those who may still receive checks by mail, which is less common now, the earlier payment timing in December is even more important to note. Mail delivery can slow down during the holidays, and receiving your check early ensures it gets processed in good time. Nonetheless, if you are eligible for direct deposit, there's a strong case for choosing it because it's reliable and avoids postal delays. At this point, you might be asking a different kind of question. Is there any action I need to take? The short answer for most people is no. If you're already receiving CPP and OAS benefits and you have direct deposit set up, the government will continue to deposit funds automatically. Your December payment will come early, and your January payment will reflect updated benefit amounts due to cost of living adjustments. You don't need to reapply. You don't need to call a service line, and you don't need to sign any forms. It's all handled through the government's regular benefit systems. But it's still wise to be proactive about your financial planning. Consider updating your yearly budget with the new benefit amounts you will receive starting in January. If you depend primarily on CPP and OAS, think about how the increased cost of living affects your expenses, especially if you live in a region where housing, food, or fuel costs have risen. Planning now can help you avoid surprises later. Another thing to consider is how these changes fit into your overall retirement strategy. Many financial advisors recommend reviewing your retirement income plan annually. That includes CPP, OAS, workplace, or personal pensions, and any savings or investment accounts you might have. Knowing when your benefits are paid and how much they are helps you coordinate with other income streams so that you can manage your cash flow effectively. For example, some retirees choose to align larger annual or semi-annual expenses, like property taxes, with benefit dates so that funds are accessible when needed. Let's wrap up with a clear summary that highlights exactly what you need to remember. First, the change in December is about timing. The December CPP and OAS payments are scheduled earlier, specifically on December 22, 2025, instead of the usual later date. This is done so recipients have their funds in place before holiday closures and banking slowdowns. Second, the real change in benefit amounts happens at the start of the new year. Beginning January 1st, 2026, CPP and OAS benefits will reflect cost of living adjustments that the government calculates based on inflation. Those adjusted amounts are automatically applied, no action required by beneficiaries. Third, these adjustments and timing changes underscore the importance of planning. If you receive benefits, understand when they arrive and how much you can expect. Consider reviewing your budget and talking with a financial planner if you have questions about how these changes affect your overall retirement income. And finally, be cautious about sensational headlines that suggest dramatic new rules overnight. Most of the changes we've described are routine, annual practices that are communicated in advance and designed to make the system work smoothly, not to surprise recipients. If you found this information helpful, please consider sharing it with friends or family members who are CPP or OAS recipients. Many seniors and caregivers rely on clear, trustworthy explanations like this, and a conversation can make a real difference in someone's financial confidence. Thank you for watching, and if you have questions for future videos, especially about CPP, OAS, retirement planning, taxes, or benefits, leave them in the comments, and we'll cover them in upcoming episodes. Did you know your December pension payment could arrive earlier than you think, and your benefits are set to increase next year? If you're receiving CPP or OAS, this could directly affect your wallet. Stay tuned because I'm breaking down everything you need to know about these new payment rules so you're fully prepared. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any updates that could impact your benefits.